Union Minister Hardeep Puri is joining me on the phone line. Dr. Puri, of course, there has been a lot of efforts at multiple levels, and the good news coming from the Prime Minister himself, who says that Delhi Declaration has been adopted, the details of which we'll know about it. But certainly, as a former diplomat and now someone who works with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, how do you look at these developments?
Maria, this is both a moment for celebration and rejoicing. What the Delhi Declaration or the New Delhi Declaration seeks to do and will accomplish, you will have the text on the website in I think 15-20 minutes. It will show that the entire focused and concerted Indian approach to use the G20 platform to bring about not only a human-centric development paradigm, a post-COVID new international order with a new India there right up front, that has been accepted unanimously, as the Prime Minister just, he gabbled. That's the correct word.
Yes.
And I think the most important thing, Maria, is that, all these cynics, naysayers about something being contentious, something not being acceptable. If you see the new paras 9 to 14, I think they are the redrafted Indian paras on the Russia-Ukraine thing. Very, very mature and intelligent drafting, takes everybody on board, and it ends, I think, in para 14 by saying that this is not an era for war. And I think this is the spirit in which plurilateral forums like this have to be used. And I can say, not because I have 50 years of experience in this field. I was 39 years in the Foreign Service, 6 years in the international think tanking space, and 6 years as a minister. This is what the Modi development model is all about.
Okay, Dr. Puri.
G20s.
Yeah. Dr. Puri, we have some statistics, and I'm going to ask the producer to put it on the television screens. It says how India's G20 presidency has been perhaps the most ambitious one, given the kind of documents it has managed to really endorse. Would you say that what makes India's G20 presidency, as you said, human-centric development, but also that at a time when there are so stark divisions in the post-COVID world and in this era of conflict between Ukraine and Russia, India has managed to achieve what was perhaps thought as unachievable?
Maria, I don't have access to your screen because I'm on the move, because I have a meeting as part of this to reach just now. But I can tell you two things. Don't measure the achievement just in terms of the fact that more than 220 meetings were held in 60 or more Indian cities. Measure the true impact, which will resonate. The joining of the African Union, one more event which is to take place at 5 o'clock.
It has happened already. It has happened already.
I know, but another event is coming.
Okay.
We've got a lot of things lined up.
Okay.
So let me tell you this on all fronts, on the health, on the multilateral development banks, on the issue of climate, on the issue of climate finance. When people start analyzing this document, you can do a simple metric, before and after. See the value added that this G20 has produced, and this is only the start of a process. Because as I said, the G20 was conceived in a moment of crisis. Today the world is facing multiple crises, and I think the G20 New Delhi Declaration will be remembered as a major milestone in the creation of a post-COVID, human-centric development model, which will create a new international order. Because the other multilateral institutions, by and large, people think are not fit for purpose. This will hopefully impart some impetus to them as well.
Last question to you, and certainly, there was a lot of skepticism whether there would be a New Delhi Declaration. And of course, over the last few days, we did know that the finance minister track was on track in terms of the finance inclusion, the digital public infrastructure, the crypto moves that were taking place, the developmental banks, all that was on track. Would you say that an adoption of a declaration will be seen as an icing on the cake? Because, you know, if India can manage this kind of consensus, then certainly it is a consensus builder.
Maria ji, I would go a little further. This is not just the icing on the cake. This is the cake and a part of the bakery also. Because look, when something succeeds, nothing succeeds like success. If something has to fall apart, the smallest disagreement will make it fall apart. But you are now celebrating a adopted document which has all these things. And let the document hit the public domain. It's a question of another 15-20 minutes. You know, I must say, as an insider in the system, I've been taking, previews, sneak views. As I said, I refused to comment on it till the declaration was adopted. And you caught me at a weak moment just after it had been adopted. And I'm glad to share this first assessment with you. I think this is a moment of both rejoicing and celebration. And I think this will have a major impact, not only for the kind of vision that the Prime Minister set for a human-centric post-COVID new international order, but a resurgent India, a new India at the center of it.
हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी, ये एनडीटीवी इंडिया के लिए भी सवाल है, दो हिंदी में मैं आपसे पूछूंगी। ये एक इंक्लूसिव वर्ल्ड ऑर्डर का मैसेज है जो भारत से जा रहा है, क्या आप इसको मानेंगे? और जो प्रधानमंत्री ने अभी कुछ देर पहले अनाउंसमेंट खुद किया है कि बहुत बड़ा सक्सेस हुआ है, जो ऑफिशियल्स लगे हुए थे, शर्पा लेवल मीटिंग्स हुई थी, उसका फाइनल सक्सेस ये रहा है कि दिल्ली डॉक्यूमेंट हैज बीन अडॉप्टेड।
देखिए, मैं सबको बधाई देना चाहूंगा और जो माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा बिल्कुल सही कहा। इंक्लूसिविटी की ये एक नई परिभाषा, एक नया टेम्पलेट है। देखिए, जो भी इस समय ये सिर्फ G20 की आप मेंबरशिप देखिए, और जब भारत ने G20 की अध्यक्षता करने की जिम्मेवारी ली, आज भारत ने उस पर डिलीवर किया है। इसमें ह्यूमन सेंट्रिक डेवलपमेंट, इसमें हेल्थ सेक्टर, फाइनेंशियल इंक्लूजन, डिजिटल पे आपने बात की, और मैं समझता हूँ क्लाइमेट फाइनेंसिंग, मल्टीलैटरल डेवलपमेंट इंस्टीट्यूशंस को ट्रस्ट, ऑल दिस, ये सब जो चीज लेके मैं समझता हूँ कि ये माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जो जिम्मेवारी उठाई थी और जो नई टीम इंडिया ने इसको डिलीवर किया, सबको मैं बहुत बहुत बधाई देता हूँ।
आखिरी सवाल आपसे, आप आईएफएस ऑफिसर भी रहे हैं हरदीप सिंह पुरी जी, आप जो भारत ने आज किया है, जो प्रेसिडेंसी का हाई ऑन सिंबलिज्म था, बोला जा रहा था डिप्लोमेटिक स्पेक्टिकल है, उसमें ये सब्सटैंटिव मोमेंट भी बोलेंगे आप, सब्सटैंटिव एफर्ट फॉर लास्ट सेवरल मंथ्स फाइनली यील्डिंग डिविडेंड्स।
मारिया जी, मैं शुरू से कहता आ रहा हूँ, इस भारत की जो G20 की अध्यक्षता है, इसकी मेजरमेंट जो 60 शहरों में मीटिंग्स हुई, 220 से ज्यादा अधिक मीटिंग्स हुई, दुनिया भर के लोग आए, भारत के कल्चर, हमारी सिविलाइजेशनल वैल्यूज का प्रचार हुआ, दैट इज वन पार्ट ऑफ इट। बट देयर आर सब्सटैंटिव पीपल्स प्रेसिडेंसी, इसके जो लाभ हैं G20 के डिक्लेरेशन के, जब इनको पढ़ा जाएगा, इसके बारे में चर्चा की जाएगी, उसमें देखा जाएगा कि कॉमन मैन भारत में ही नहीं, ग्लोबल साउथ में इसको जो इम्पैक्ट होगा, मैं मानता हूं कि इस इज वन ऑफ द मोर प्रोफाउंड, वन ऑफ द मोस्ट विजिबल इम्पैक्ट काइंड ऑफ अ प्लूरिलैटरल मीटिंग। और मुझे लगता है G20 की ये जो टेम्पलेट है, इसका पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट जो बाकी मल्टीलैटरल UN बाकी जगह है, वहां पे भी इसकी पॉजिटिव इम्पल्स जाएगी, और इसका दिस विल बी फेल्ट बाय द पीपल ऑन द प्लैनेट इन डिफरेंट वेज, चाहे क्लाइमेट पे एक्शन हो, हेल्थ सेक्टर हो, मैं समझता हूँ बाकी डेवलपमेंट जो हो, डिजिटल इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर की बात हो, ऑल दिस इज वेरी वेरी पॉजिटिव।
All right, Hardeep Singh Puri, really appreciate your time and thank you for sharing all your thoughts.